How many times have you said, "That's fine," when everything in you was screaming, "It's not"? And here he is again, saying, "I need to finish these projects first." Maybe you told yourself it wasn't a big deal, that you were just being sensitive, that it's better not to start something, so you swallowed it again. That moment of silent surrender, you know it wasn't the first. Your body knows this dance all too well. His priorities advance, your needs recede, and in those quiet acquiescences, the deeper truth emerges. You've become more committed to being convenient than he is to being your partner in this life. This is Healing into Wisdom. I'm Claire, and today we're going to uncover why you keep disappearing in your relationship and how to reclaim your voice without destroying what you've built. By the end of this episode, you'll understand the invisible force that's been shrinking you into convenience, and you'll have the exact words to break this cycle tonight. Your body carries the weight of these silent compromises, the heaviness in your shoulders, carrying the invisible load of a one-sided marriage, that knot in your stomach every time you abandon yourself again, the hollow space in your chest where reciprocity should live. You might think this is just being accommodating, being a good partner. It's not. This is your slow disappearance, performed daily with perfect precision. You know that feeling when you're about to shrink, to want less, to make yourself smaller. The voice that whispers, "Don't ask for too much." This inner scorekeeper, always counting what you give, never receiving what you deserve. With every accommodation, it diligently tallies. See how understanding I am? Point. See how I never complain? Another point. See how I rearrange my entire life while he refuses to move a single meeting? Another point. Yet despite all these silent surrenders, the reward never comes. Stop. Look at your hands right now. These are the same hands that have built careers, created homes, held children, written stories of your life. These hands weren't made for disappearing. Remember the woman you were before this marriage? She knew how to take up space. A voice that didn't apologize for its volume. She's still in there, watching you vanish, wondering when you'll remember her name. You're not broken, just tired of being small. Take another breath. This habit of keeping score isn't who you are. It's something you learn to do. What if you could step back for a moment and see this scorekeeper clearly, not pushing it away? It's been working desperately hard, but just enough distance to see it clearly. You might notice another voice arising, one that judges this pattern. I should be stronger than this. Why can't I just speak up? I'm pathetic for letting this happen. Notice this critical voice too, how it's trying to help in its own way. Can you acknowledge this judge and ask it to step back just for now? I see you're trying to help me be stronger. I appreciate your intention, but right now, I need to understand this behavior, not judge it. From this calmer space, you might notice something unexpected. This scorekeeper isn't weakness or failure. It's a brilliant survival strategy formed long ago. This pattern didn't start with him. It began when you learned that being wanted meant being useful, convenient, accommodating, perhaps with overwhelmed parents who couldn't hold your needs, or in an early relationship where your desires were treated as burdens. If you ask this scorekeeper what it's protecting you from, what might it say? I'm keeping you from rejection. I'm preventing abandonment. I'm making sure you're never too much. It carries beliefs you've never examined. If I ask for what I need, rejection will destroy me. If I stop managing everything, it will collapse. Or most painfully, if I'm not useful, I have no value. Can you feel how this scorekeeper carries both wisdom and outdated fear? How fiercely it's tried to keep you safe and worthy by making you invisible. What if you thanked it? I see how hard you've worked, how you've carried our relationship alone, how you've tried to earn love through endless giving. You might notice a shift as this acknowledgement lands, perhaps a softening, or maybe tears that have been waiting years to fall. That vigilant scorekeeper has been standing between you and something deeper, a vulnerable part of you that experienced emptiness when your needs went unmet before. It's been shielding you from feeling unworthy, from feeling unwanted. If you gently asked this guardian if you could connect with that vulnerable part, what would it say? It might resist. It's too painful. Or it might sense your compassion and allow you to look deeper. If the guardian feels your genuine care and curiosity, it might cautiously step aside, allowing you to connect. And there she is, a little girl that learned her needs were inconvenient, sitting alone, her desires unspoken, believing herself too demanding, too needy, too much. As you become aware of this little girl inside you, you might gently ask her, I really want to understand your experience without being overwhelmed. Can you let me witness your pain without flooding me, so I can be here for you fully? You might imagine her sitting in a gentle circle of light. You're close enough to understand, but separate enough to help. This young part of you carries such sorrow, the weight of every time she mattered less than someone else's convenience, every time her legitimate needs were treated as unreasonable demands, the crushing loneliness of holding her desires silently, believing no one would care enough to meet them. Stay with her now. Let her know you see her pain, that you understand how much it hurt to be treated as an afterthought, to be valued only for what she could give, not for who she truly was. You might say to her, I see you. I see how long you've been carrying this alone. If her pain becomes overwhelming, simply touch your heart and say, I see you from here. This gentle reminder reconnects you to your adult self while maintaining compassion for her experience. As you observe this little girl, you might notice other energies arising too, perhaps anger that wants to demand immediate change, or fear about disrupting the relationship's stability. These too have important roles. Your awareness can hold all of these responses with the same compassion, without any need to act from them immediately. If you could sit beside this younger you in a moment when her needs were dismissed, what would you do? Perhaps you take her hand and say, what you want matters. What you need is important. Imagine her surprise at being truly seen after so long. Imagine her relief at finally hearing, "Your needs matter deeply. You deserve to be considered. You are worthy of reciprocity." Picture her face as she absorbs these words. Words she's been waiting a lifetime to hear. Maybe she cries. Maybe she looks at you in disbelief. But something shifts as she begins to take in this truth. As you sit with her, notice what painful belief she's been carrying. The idea that she's undeserving, that feeling of being too much yet not enough. Where does she carry this in her body? As a weight on her chest? A constriction in her throat? A hollowness in her heart? Notice that you can feel compassion for her experience without becoming lost in it. From this compassionate, grounded place, imagine how she might release this burden. Perhaps as golden light dissolving it away, or waves washing it clean. Simply take a moment to breathe deeply and imagine that weight finally lifting in whatever way feels most natural and complete to you. See her lightening as this old weight dissolves, allowing her natural worthiness to shine through. The heaviness lifts, the constriction eases. She can breathe fully, perhaps for the first time. Now, return to that scorekeeper. With the little girl feeling seen and valued, this protector doesn't need to work so hard. It doesn't need to keep tallying sacrifices, hoping for eventual recognition. If it could choose a new role, not disappearing, not scorekeeping, what might it want to do instead? What if this scorekeeper became your negotiator instead of your shield? A voice that speaks your truth with clarity. You've been doing this job since before he was even in my life, when disappearing seemed safer than risking rejection. But I am not that vulnerable person anymore. And this marriage, it can't survive on my self-erasure. It's not protecting us. It's hollowing us both out. The next time he says, "I need to finish these projects first," and you feel that familiar collapse beginning, pause. Notice the scorekeeper ready to say, "That's fine," when everything in you is screaming, "It's not." Take a breath and reconnect with that grounded awareness at your core. From this centered place, you might say instead, "I understand you have projects. I also need us to talk about balancing our priorities." Or simply, "Let's find another time that works for both of us." Your first attempts might feel shaky. You might see that familiar look, slight impatience, perhaps a comment about how you used to be more understanding. The scorekeeper might panic. "You're being difficult. He'll think you're too demanding." When this happens, remind that caring protector, "Thank you for trying to keep me safe, but we're trying something new now." This isn't about demanding everything on your terms. It's about bringing your whole self to the relationship, not as an ultimatum, but as an invitation to greater wholeness for both of you. In any true partnership, your presence cannot be optional. If this conversation resonated with you, I invite you to pause with me for a moment. Place your hand where you felt the strongest response in your body. Simply breathe and acknowledge whatever you discovered here. This moment of seeing yourself clearly is already a gentle step toward reclaiming your presence. And if you found value in this approach, consider subscribing to this channel, Healing into Wisdom. I'm Claire, and each week I'll share these reflective conversations that help you recognize familiar patterns and rediscover your authentic voice. Until next time, remember, your needs aren't burdens to be managed. They're invitations to the connection your relationship was meant for all along.